You and I were chatting probably, was it 2, 3 weeks ago, about the common myths that hold maintenance teams back from fully adopting, embracing this, what we believe is going to be the future of technology in the industrial space. So I'm kind of curious, like Bryan, any highlights from that? What are some common myths that you think are really holding people back from fully adopting, industrial IoT?
I think the biggest one is that, and people will disagree with me. I think this is the LinkedIn conversation that you're talking about. So people disagreed, but they think it's expensive and it's complicated. And it just it isn't, and it doesn't have to be. I mean, I know it's all relative, right? But this is a tens of thousands of dollars thing, not a millions or hundreds of thousands of dollars thing, so that you can get started using data on your machines and monitoring them. I think that's probably the number one, in my opinion.
You're right. Cost is an important problem. And I think what people called out was it wasn't just the cost of sensors. It wasn't just the cost of even purchasing the hardware and getting it set up. It was actually like the cost to implement, train, and also have an ongoing, person or people to be able to analyze this data versus getting it first set up. So I guess I'm curious, any thoughts around that, Bryan?
I think that as engineers, we tend to overcomplicate things sometimes, right? And want like the perfect solution, right? That does everything that we want. When in reality, maybe a good starting point is like a check engine light solution. Like I don't need to know like down to the itty bitty detail of every little vibration every millisecond, right? I just need to know that something's gone haywire to move me down the path. Starting there and being able to prove value with something small, which is something we talk about a lot, start small, think big, move fast. If you start with something small, all of the costs that you just described are a lot less than if you're trying to do a much larger system, collect a whole lot of data, sensor up something with a lot of very sophisticated sensors. That's one of the myths, is that you don't have to go to the perfect solution and that you can start with something small and still get a lot of value out of it. And that's where it doesn't have to cost a lot of money comment comes from.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think you hit the nail on the head, where like a lot of people, when they talk about IoT solutions, it's like, all right, we're going to set up digital twins. We're going to run all these, different scenarios of what happens. But then it's like, hold up, where are we right now? And then you kind of look at the existing setup and you're like, all right, well, let's get there. But there's so much value in just taking the first step. I know we're going to get to that predictive modeling, setting up digital twins, running, 30 different scenarios. But let's just get that check engine light, because I think we can get, half of the total value of this for, 1% of the total cost.
Yeah.